Midwestern movie reviewer here with another movie review. I recently saw Megalopolis in theaters. I was excited about seeing this ever since I saw the trailer. I love Adam Driver, Aubrey Plaza, some of the other actors in this. I thought, this looks interesting. I want to see this. Plus, it's an artistic take on the times that we're living in and a comparison to Rome and that downfall. So I thought, wow, that sounds really cool. It's got some futuristic look to it. I'm in. Well, this video is going to have some spoilers because I really want to go deep into why I think you shouldn't go see this. This was actually terrible. So if you don't want to have spoilers and you're really interested in seeing this movie, come back later after you've seen it and let me know what you thought of it. If you don't care about that and you just are curious about what it was about, stick around and you'll see. So at the beginning of this, when it first started, I'll play a clip and then we'll discuss it.
Civilization. About to reach a dead end. Is this way we're living the only one that's available to us?
So it seemed a lot like Adam Driver, his character, Caesar, and this new girlfriend of his were in an 8th grade school play. Like they were just reading lines like, "How are you today? I'm good. And then I'm going to leave now." Just real bland and awful. And I was like, oh no, this movie's over 2 hours long. I cannot stay for 8th grade play acting. It was awful. So I did stay and it did get better. I'll say that. The acting improved. The dialogue was just a little bit weird and I don't know. At the beginning, it was hard for these characters to get into their acting chops to where they disappeared into the roles. So be prepared for that. But then the story itself was all over the place. It was a hot mess. You had, for example, I'm going to talk about Shia LaBeouf's character. He started out playing this like little brother that's kind of annoying type character who was just jumping off of stuff and full of energy and just all over the place. And then he comes in and he's in drag, and you're like, why is he in drag? You can't really tell what's going on. And then he comes back and he is trying to run for political office. And you're like, what's going on? Why is he doing this? None of the things that he did made any sense for his character. Like he never did develop his character to where you're like, oh, this is interesting and believable. I'm getting behind this character. But one point he does have sex with his aunt, which was disgusting. It was just weird. This movie had a lot of incest. It was very strange. Also, you had a lot of old men with young women in this. And to the point where you're like, okay, Francis Ford Coppola, who wrote, directed, and produces, we get it. You got a thing for young chicks or something like that, because all his old buddies were in this. Like John Voight looks like he's about 85 or 90 and was with Aubrey Plaza, who's in her 30s, I think, or maybe 40. It was a gross relationship. You had Dustin Hoffman, who looked really, really old, and then just a few other really old guys hanging around these young women. It was weird. It's got some political things behind it, and there's power and money and greed and stuff. So some of the actors that were in this were Adam Driver, Natalie Emmanuel, Shia LaBeouf, Aubrey Plaza, Giancarlo Esposito, John Voight, and several other actors. The cast was it was interesting to me, but then actually seeing it, I'm iffy on it. I wish that Francis Ford Coppola had kind of stuck to a certain theme. For example, since this is supposed to be kind of like art reflecting life, one that I felt did a really good job of that was Civil War earlier this year. This movie was specifically about politics, how civil unrest could turn into something more escalated and dangerous, and the violence against journalists and things like that. It was very clear and easy. You didn't have love stories thrown in and side stories and all this. You knew what was going on, and you could feel it more fully. You could really get invested in the story. And this one, Francis Ford Coppola had a little underlying romance, and he had side stories of all these other characters to where you could not figure out what was really going on, and you couldn't care about any of these people. One thing he did that really, really irritated me is he spent too much time on drug trip scenes, where things are spinning and all of this, and you're supposed to know how this person is feeling under the influence of these drugs. And I always liken that to the scene from Dumbo, where he drinks too much, he gets drunk, he's floating around, there's elephants in different colors and stripes and all this, and that scene lasts forever, like 10 minutes of that. This movie had that, and it lasted, and two of them, two drug trip scenes of Adam Driver laying on the floor and things spinning and all these funky psychedelic colors. I was like, we got it the first time, Francis Ford Coppola. Did you need to stick another drug trip scene in this movie? This is why I think this movie could have been an hour shorter, and it would have gotten to the point. You could have actually felt something for the story, and you wouldn't have been so bored. There were probably 4 or 5 times I looked over at the clock on the wall of the theater going, how much longer of this? So it was boring. It was really boring, and I hate that. You have these scenes. They say that Shia LaBeouf and these other women they're his brother. He's the brother, and they're the sisters. Meanwhile, they show them making out constantly and in various stages of nudity. And so you're like, what is going on there? And what does that reflect in society? Do we have rich and powerful people that are just committing incest? I'm like, where are you running around, Francis Ford Coppola? Because in my day-to-day life in America, I don't see that, but maybe that's what he runs around with. I don't know. Very weird. The old dudes in this, was he just hiring all his friends and giving them I don't know. I don't know, but it was very weird. Okay, I hate the name because it's hard to pronounce. Megalopolis. Megalopolis. This is what was confusing too. The city in the movie is obviously New York. You've got the Empire State Building, New York. They're calling it Rome. Right. Okay, so I'm supposed to wrap my mind around this is supposed to be Rome. Well, the new city that Adam Driver's designing is called Megalopolis. When you go see this, please let me know what you thought of that. I hate the name. Basically, this is a very indulgent movie by Francis Ford Coppola. Horrible execution, boring, too long, too much incest, and just gross with old men and young ladies. Oh, don't waste your time on this, is all I have to say. Midwestern Movie Reviewer. Oh, wait. I also saw last week Transformers 1. It was not super impressive. It was kind of fun. If you're into Transformers and you've seen like every other movie, like I have, you'll find some cute elements about this and some interesting things, but it's not super, super fantastic. It's not hilarious. It's okay. It's pretty good for the canon. Kids are going to enjoy it. That's basically all I have to say about it. I wish that Keegan-Michael Key's character had been in it longer because I really enjoy him. But the acting was good, the voice acting. So it's okay. So that's why I'm throwing it at the end of this review. Transformers 1 is just okay. If you haven't done it already, please like and subscribe. I keep forgetting to remind you guys in these videos, and it really helps my channel grow. So, Midwestern Movie Reviewer out.